camping gig.
Yep.
Because they just
Oh,
had a
cool.
baby, so that's their deal. But he did get the it says Pajero on the back of it. It's obviously not a
Oh,
Dodge.
wow. Gotcha.
Okay.
My dad once converted a 1978, I think it was 78 Monte Carlo to right-hand drive for this guy was bringing it to Japan back in the day, like 1981. So take that.
Well,
That's got to be a pretty hard feat in itself, finding all the parts to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, I could. That's probably a
yeah.
pretty good interview. Let's interview my dad on how he did that.
Oh, I
Hey,
would
'cause
love to
we had
interview
a
your
right
dad.
hand drive JK one at the shop one time, and we couldn't find anything for that.
Yeah, because there was no YouTube back then,
No.
or
Dude,
there was Chilton's, like
Yeah.
the book, the handbook. That was it.
and finding parts is ridiculous. If you're gonna find the parts, you got to ship them in. That's all there is to it.
And Matt, I would love to interview
Yep.
your dad about a lot of things other than that stupid thing he'd converted.
It was a Monte Carlo. It was probably pretty cool
I
for
bet it
its
was
time.
super cool. Monte Carlo was super cool.
I don't know about a 78 mark, whatever it was. It
I
a
thought
Monte
he was
Carlo.
a mailman or something and needed to make it right-hand drive.
Yeah.
You know what? That'd be more interesting. Dad, just say, I'm going to have you on the podcast. Just say you were a mailman and you wanted to look cool.
I thought you were gonna say he converted like a Regal to like a Grand National. Aren't they like the same car or whatever?
I think it's a Cutlass.
Oh, Cutlass.
Yeah, Buick Cutlass.
All right. We are live. We got people.
But I think the Buick Cutlass came with a 454, and then
That Turbo 6.
and then the Monte
Grand
Carlo.
this week on
Yeah.
Old Car Podcast with
Okay.
Matt and Jose. We're live on YouTube now. People are joining. Horse Trainers there. Western Firearms. SoCal Tundra Outlaws. We got Groot. We got Perry G.
Is this like Romper Room where you're
some-
looking through
some-
the? Remember Romper Room?
You know
where
what?
I see Michael,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I see,
I
and then they'd
see-
say, "I see Matthew," and you get all excited. She saw me.
I see Rescue Con in there, and I think someone needs to rescue him from whatever he's got going on. I don't know what you got going on lately, Tim. I hope you're doing well. Okay, are you guys ready to do this shenanigans?
Yeah.
All right, and Fred, you'll go on mute when you're not talking. You ready?
Yep, sounds good.
All right. All right, I'm gonna count down 3, 2, 1, and then we'll go silent for a couple minutes, and then I'll introduce you guys. 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody! It is Tuesday night. It is 6:40. We're a couple minutes later than usual, but you guys are used to that. We are live on YouTube tonight, as we are normally on Tuesdays, and we are joined by Team Ashmore Taff, which is the combination of Billy Taff and Fred Ashmore. They're from Oklahoma, where it's sweaty and humid.
Hot and humid.
Hot and humid. And
I think the term was hot and shitty.
hot and shitty. And Billy looks like he's sitting underneath the roof of a circus. And that's the first thing I want to address.
It was a Pizza Hut.
Is this red and white roof
Yep.
shack that you're in? And then we'll cut over to do an intro on Fred. So, Billy, what is going on with this Pizza Hut roof?
Yeah, this building. I bought it a few months ago, and the guy, they were tearing down a Pizza Hut in next town over, so he bought the whole roof from them, scrapped the rest, and transported it about 10 miles. Put it on another I built a couple walls in here, stem walls, set the roof down on it. So now I got a little Pizza Hut shop.
I cannot be more jealous. I cannot be
With a
more-
cool Rat Fink poster.
Yeah, he's got a Rat Fink poster, and he's in his Pizza Hut shop. And we're stuck in a damn spare bedroom in my house, dude. That is.
Dude, you got AC. It's hot, and I'm fighting off mosquitoes, man. It's not at all it's cracked up to be.
I have to fight off Jose.
Yeah, but Oklahoma mosquitoes, I got a feeling those are small and simple. They're like tiny and not even a big deal, right?
He eventually stops fighting though.
No, they are, but there's a lot of them.
Okay, I was joking because in my mind they're pterodactyls. Like everything on that side of the Rockies is like a pterodactyl that's going to kill you.
Yeah, you get Louisiana's worse.
Is it?
I've been down there a few times, and yeah, they got horse killers down there.
Horse trainer, what's that all about?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Horse trainer, are you used to the killer mosquitoes? So then we'll introduce Fred. How you doing tonight, Fred? You're in the vehicle on your phone. What's going on?
I'm headed to California with one of my buddies. We're going to get some rare Ford parts. And honestly, I'm in air conditioning. There's no bugs. I'm not complaining.
Where? So if you're on your way to California, where are you now?
We are just outside of Texas. My friend picked me up about 6:30, and we're just outside of Texas, getting into. Oh, the sun's just going down over the horizon, so we'll probably be in Amarillo way before morning.
Where in California are you headed?
Outside of Texas, he's like 4 days away, right?
Yes, yeah. Where?
Not for me. We're going to Palm Springs.
Okay, that's adjacent. That's Inland Empire adjacent to us. You're not going to be far away from where we're at right now. What? When do you?
Really?
Yeah. We're hour and a half.
Like an hour.
Yeah, hour and a half from Palm Springs.
Depends on who's driving.
Yeah,
what
I'll
you're
get you there
driving.
in an hour. Where are you guys driving straight through? You
I'd have
spending the
gotten
night?
you there already.
Well, strangely enough, I'm a cannonballer, so we're going to cannonball this thing, get everything loaded up, come back to Oklahoma, and then I have to drive to Colorado for the show finale on Friday.
Eastbound down.
Yeah.
Loaded. Oh, no, that's Smokey and the Bandit. That's Smokey and the Bandit. It's not the Cannonball.
That's still cool.
Same, but Burt Reynolds, Dom DeLuise, Cannonball Run. Seriously, one of my favorite 80s movies of all time.
Well, if that's your
I'm
favorite
just a Burt
movie,
Reynolds fan.
you'll have to see. So me and Fred built an identical replica to the ambulance and ran it across the United States.
Wow.
Yep.
So what is a cannonballer? Like, is that an official, like, explain to me what that is.
So cannonball is driving from coast to coast as fast as you can. Some people do it in an event, and some people do it on their individual, groups or by themselves, teams of guys. And Billy and I, almost exactly a year ago, built an identical replica of the medevac ambulance, and we ran it from coast to coast. And it's the first ambulance that's ever made it. It was a replica from the 70s race and the 80s movie.
Yep.
Dude.
Did you have a crazy old man
With
as
an elephant?
with a big giant syringe and that was cross-eyed that could be the doctor?
And Farrah Fawcett at all? Did she join you on the run?
Preferably like a new Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah,
No.
Dude, I Billy's blonde. I think Billy just put feathers in his hair and sat in the back of the ambulance.
No, I got Dom DeLuise.
Oh yeah, Billy is definitely a shoe-in for Dom. But we're both happily married, so they wouldn't have been very impressed if we brought any women along the way. That's for sure.
Well, one can hope. For
Cody,
the next
there's YouTube channels dedicated to Cannonball and how they avoid getting tickets, like how they set up multiple radar blockers and detectors.
I feel like that's my calling, dude. I feel like that's the next thing. Although I fall asleep after I drive for an hour, so I don't know if that'll work. Like
I feel like
but you also have to remember too. The more women you bring, the more pee breaks you got, so it kills your time.
Oh, you know what? I'll tell you, that would kill my time because I just turned 50,
yeah,
so
that's
I'm like
50, dude. He's not making
like
it very
I got
long.
pee breaks all the time.
Well, that's the nice thing about a van. You just crawl in back and just take a leak in the bottle or
Gatorade,
whatever you
Gatorade
got.
bottles.
Okay.
Gatorade
Yeah.
bottle. You got to use the Gatorade bottle for the big mouth.
Yeah,
The big throat.
Exactly.
Regular Coke bottles might be.
or a coffee can,
My Mountain Dew can.
You know those little miniature Sprites? I just use those.
Yep.
I feel like doing a cannonball run, that would be the greatest accomplishment of my life, but also I'd probably die. Like I'd kill myself doing that.
It'd be horrible.
But what a way to go.
You would get to the end and be like, I'm just going to buy a plane ticket back.
Yeah. This is
Exactly. Getting to the end and then realizing you have to drive all the way home is it's rough.
So do you finish like in Santa Monica or whatever per what
No,
I believe is the end of the race, or is there
No, it
like
actually
an official finish line?
It finishes at the Portofino Inn in Redondo Beach.
Oh, okay, but it is SoCal that's the ultimate
Oh,
goal.
definitely. Yep.
Yeah. How long have you guys been doing that? Like, what was the what got you into that piece? That stuff?
Well, we need to save that probably for another podcast because there's a lot behind that. I've done it several times, and Billy, this was his inaugural. It was a bucket list for him, and that's why we built the ambulance to go and see if we could actually be the first ones to ever make it across the USA in the ambulance, and we were. So
that is super impressive. What was the ambulance like? When you say built the ambulance, was it a fairly moderate build?
No, identical replica. So this was a 1978 B200 that we found in a field in Kansas. We brought it back, and in 30 days, we not only got it running, driving, painted it, and drove it 6,000 miles in 5 days.
Wow.
So, yeah, top to bottom.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That is.
Him and I did this in a home garage, not some fancy shop. Just him and I put it to New York, punched our time clock at the Red Ball, and smoked it across the USA and put up a really respectable time. It was 39 hours and 15 minutes.
Wow!
Holy shit!
Yep. So yeah,
39 hours. It takes Jose that long to get to work just on a Sunday morning.
It was a pure 1978 van too. No overdrive, no fancy nothing, man. No heater, no AC.
I was gonna say, how was the AC? Please tell me the AC worked, because I ain't doing it. Then I'm out. I'm already out.
We had a lot of air gaps in the back door that we made, so we had there was a lot of fumes, a lot of gas smells. But other than that, we had the 70-gallon fuel tank in the back for a little extra run time
to keep you. Also to keep you up, those fumes, keeping you alert.
Yep,
that's crazy.
ROADs. That's one of those funny words.
All right, so we'll let Fred go back on a mute for a minute, and then kick over to Billy and start the conversation about Team Ashmore Taff. So all I know is that you guys are participating in something called HatchTV, and you guys have built up a wrong-sided drive Montero Pajero Frangero something or other. So what
very judgmental. What is the
Cody? It's a soft J.
It's a Pajero. What is the impetus of that? Like, tell me what you guys are doing with this Overland build and kind of what the goal is.
So funny enough, we were actually on our way back from the Cannonball when we started planning this whole deal out, because we were building the van and we got a call from one of Fred's friends, and like, hey, we got these friends with HatchTV. They had a competitor drop out. They're needing somebody to fill the spot. So, what do they got going on? They're doing an overlanding challenge, 5 teams, winner take all, elimination. And want to know if we could build a rig to go compete. And we're like, yeah, absolutely. When do you need us? And they're like, 30 days. So yeah, we get back and scrambling around trying to find something. The only real criteria they had is they wanted something original. I'm not 100%. I believe that the team that dropped out was from Great Britain. Fred can correct me on that, but so they were kind of wanting something a little different anyways to fill that void. Fred done a lot of searching. He was actually out on he was out on a car site, and he was hauling some stuff in, and this lady had the Pajero sitting out there in the weed pile. And, so he brought it to me. He's like, hey man, this is what I found. We started looking into it, and they found, the pedigree of winning the Dakar Rally and things like that as far as the Pajero goes. So right-hand drive, diesel, fuel injected. Yeah, we thought it was a win-win, and that's what we started building.
I'm looking at the so what year is the Pajero?
93, I believe. Is that correct?
Is that solid axle rear end, or is that IFS as well, or IRS?
So it's independent front, solid rear.
Okay.
Yeah.
My buddy's is independent rear, and so there's quite a bit of limitations to that suspension.
Yeah. This one here, man, we thought getting into it that it would be real similar to the Monteros, But come to find out, when they put that diesel motor in it, they changed everything. So none of the parts were transferring over. We couldn't find nothing.
'Cause it's hard enough to find parts for just a standard
From
one.
yeah.
Yeah,
How
for
many?
one that was bought and sold in the USA, you cannot find parts for.
So how many days in did you go, oh shit, this is a bad idea. This is an absolute bad idea.
You know, it was actually, I would say probably a week or so in, because, you know, the first thing, you get it running, you start tearing it down, prepping it for the build. And then, you know, by that point, we're a week in trying to figure out how we're going to go about it. And hey, let's start ordering parts. And yeah, there's nothing. So then, you know, we got 3 weeks left, and anything we're going to order in has got to be shipped in from overseas. So yeah, we were just,
that will take
there was
3.5
nothing.
weeks to get there.
Yep, exactly. So Fred, he actually pulled some strings, and he called around, and he ended up getting this front locker, air locker for it. So that was worth its weight in gold. Yeah, that was a game changer for us.
So HatchTV, for those of you that want to check more of this out, you can go to HatchTV.com, and right up on the front, there's a block where you can click on Overlanders and start watching some of this stuff. It looks like HatchTV has a bunch of different automotive-based and other entertainment that you can check out. So the HatchTV Overlander event, what is the background of that event? Like, what is the challenge going to be, or has been? Have you guys filmed this yet?
So we have filmed it. Okay. It has aired, and the final episode is this Friday on the Outdoor Channel.
Nice.
So
nice.
Yep.
So what was the background of the entire challenge?
So everything, there was several challenges day to day. We basically started in Grand Junction, Colorado. We backroaded, trail road there, different trails all the way out to Moab. We finished the finale will be finished out in Moab. So there was just about anything, things you could run into on the trail as far as breakdowns, car repairs, actual driving challenges, four-wheeling challenges. We had, campsite style challenges as far as cooking, just about anything you would run into overlanding. And just everything that encompasses. They've done a real good job setting out some challenges for us that kind of covered everything.
So prior to getting involved in this HatchTV challenge, it sounds like Fred's experience was haul ass from point A to point B without really exploring as much. What was your experience with overlanding as a hobby, as a whole?
So, you coined the term, kind of overlanding. To me, it was just camping. I mean, where I come from, it was throw a tent in the back of your truck and your fishing equipment or whatever and take off for the weekend and go cruise and camp and get stuck or whatever we were doing. So, as far as that goes, I've been kind of doing that my whole life, regardless if I was going out on a hunting trip or four-wheeling or what, But as far as the whole overlanding umbrella, this would be probably my only experience as far as that goes,
Yeah, but see, if you call it camping, you can sell the tent for $100.
Exactly.
If you call it overland, it's $1,000.
It's $2,500.
Yeah, absolutely.
The only way to get more money out of the same product is to call it overland.
If it's overlanding, if it's an overlanding product, you could just drive around with it in SoCal as like a badge. Look what I have. I just spent $2,500 on this rooftop tent. And, look at all the
cord.
Look at my Max Tracks I got strapped to the side. And, it's a whole thing. So, in SoCal, I think it's a money-making, I don't want to say scheme, but
I don't
endeavor.
know. Some people say electric cars are schemes, but we have different opinions on that.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm just listening to you rip on my truck essentially as you drive your Tesla.
I'm sorry, was I
around
describing
town.
your truck
Yes,
to an exact
100% driving, talking about my truck, jackass.
How much money did you spend on it, though?
Saying,
all right, you came around there.
Yeah, not a lot. Less than your Tesla. I guarantee it's less than your Tesla. So
does it have a rooftop tent?
My Tesla, no.
No, his Tesla.
No.
His truck does. His truck does with storage and all that.
Yeah, you look at my truck and you go, that is an overland truck. That's a Southern California overland truck. And most of my overlanding occurs in my 7-minute commute from my house to my job. So that's what we do now. So you said the event started in Colorado, so you had to make the run from Oklahoma to Colorado.
Yep.
When you guys left Oklahoma to head towards the Colorado to start this, what was your confidence level in the Pajero and your ability to make it through?
I'll tell you about. So the night that we left, we literally loaded the Pajero on the trailer because we were still working on it. We had to get it out from under the carport to put the roof rack on it because we couldn't do it all at once. The ceiling height was too low. So we load it on the trailer, go home, shower, and we leave that night around midnight. So, I mean, it was literally work on it until we drove out of the driveway. We pulled into Grand Junction, let's see, I think like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So drove straight through all night. We actually made a pit stop in Pueblo because Fred found a Mitsubishi Montero. He bought the Montero from the guy just so we could rob the drive lines out of it to have spares.
And you're like, I'm going to leave it here. I'll be back next week.
Yeah. So he takes the title. We take the drive lines and leave it in the guy's driveway.
Oh, is it still in the guy's driveway, or did you end up going back to get?
Yeah,
oh no!
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know if
it was another right-handed drive.
No, it wasn't. It was a Montero. So we were just banking that maybe we could make it work, like everything else we've had to do. But at least we'd have something to start with.
Nice.
Oh shit. So was it just the two of you in the Pajero for the duration of the challenge?
Yeah.
And how long was the overall experience from the time you got to Grand Junction to the filming of the final episode?
Man, I was thinking about that earlier because I couldn't quite remember. I think we were there for 8 days. So we showed up. Of course, we had a bunch of things, introductions and pre-recordings, things like that. And then I think we had straight 5 days of recording. And then the 5th day we would have been out in Moab. So about 8 days.
And prior to that, did you go through like a series of acting lessons to get your shot?
Dude, I wish, man. So, watching yourself on camera is probably the worst thing in the world. This is like my first experience, right? And so I'm sitting here and I'm cringing, dude, when these episodes start coming out. But you get towards the end and it's like you can tell I'm starting to get a little more comfortable because I'm talking, you know. It was funny, dude.
It is,
but
it's definitely.
I think I got a shot at Days of Our Lives.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing that like when you first start doing it, it's like you're not even comfortable in your own skin, and then as you get like, we're at the point now where we can go to an event, someone can hand us a microphone and put a camera on, and we just instantly like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. Like this is, but it took 280 episodes to get there.
Well, Fred, he's actually had some experience, so he could tell you about it too, but he, Battle on the Beach, he was down there for a couple episodes building on Battle of the Beach. He was down in, he was helping the guys on the 405 show building some cars down there with Asian and farm trucks. So, having him there to help me out and be like, hey, man, calm down, chill out, do this, do that. It was a godsend for sure.
Well, I can, and doing stuff with your buddies is always much more fun than like when you're trying to do stuff on your own like that. Tell me about the filming experience, like when you were out on the trail or camping or whatever.
Miserable.
I was just gonna ask, was it like
miserable?
Because I got to.
So you're talking
imagine
about trails that you could do in 30 minutes, an hour, 2-3 hours, and it's taking us 15-hour days to do it.
Yes.
And it's like you'll wheel for a quarter of a mile and stop, and wheel for a quarter of a mile and stop. Oh wait, we got to reposition, And then it's like, okay, well, we're sitting here. Let's grab some lunch. You get 2 bites in. All right, got to go. It was just, dude, non-stop chaos, man.
Yeah, that's the part. And with the proliferation of YouTube channels and overlanding Instagram pages and all that stuff, that's the thing that I find most interesting is the amount. and we've talked about this. We have 4 billion hours of video stored on a hard drive that
Yeah.
will never see the light of day, because for every hour of wheeling, it's 6 hours of viewing and editing time to make a 30-second clip.
So we had every day was pretty consistent, 12 to 15 hour days, and we got 30-minute episodes out of it. Like the amount, they had 10 cameras rolling all the time.
That's crazy.
So,
dude, and the how many different teams were there on this in this challenge?
there was 5 teams.
Okay.
Yep.
What were the other rigs?
So there was 2 Jeep JKs, JK or JLs.
Did they make
there
it?
was make it.
Did they finish?
You have to watch.
Yeah, well, so there was eliminations every day. So one team got eliminated every day. Yeah.
Oh.
There was a kind of Frankenstein international scout. It was kind of interesting. And then what was the other one? Man, this is bad. Oh, Alexis. So yeah, there was
GX
Alexis.
470.
Yep. Yeah, something like that. I'm not too familiar, but yep.
He's like, I don't know. That's a California truck. I don't.
Dude, way outside of my pay grade for sure.
Shit. At this point, all overland vehicles are outside of my pay grade. It's just the amount of cost that things are these days is getting worse and worse.
You used to be able to get a GX for the same price as like a highly priced XJ.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, Fred, I think, is on mute, and he texted me. He didn't know if he was supposed to stay on mute or if he could jump in on this conversation.
Jump in, Fred. Yeah, sorry, jump in. It's just there's a lot of road noise, so if you've got something to add to this, jump in. We're just kind of talking to Billy, so you're not excluded from the conversation. I apologize, Fred.
Oh, no big deal at all. I thought he had asked me what was going on. That's why I messaged him back. Just listening, and if you guys wanted to ask, I don't mind answering. So
yeah, no,
Billy's doing a good job on his own. So
yeah, he's given us the background, and then I definitely want to dig into more of your background as well. The challenge, the HatchTV challenge. So I want to go back to how you got involved with that. So, and maybe this is a perfect spot for Fred. So Fred, how did you know the people from HatchTV, and why did they reach out to you to see if you wanted to participate?
The line producer for Battle on the Beach had contacted me actually in the spring of last year after the show wrapped up. My brother and I were on Battle on the Beach. We won the TV show. And from there, they don't usually ask the Carpenters back after they win. And he was friends with Hatch. His name is Ben Kruger.
Okay.
And he reached out to me, and he said, hey, I've got some friends that are looking at doing a show. I think you'd be a perfect shoe-in for it. And I was wondering if I could give them your name and information. And I said, sure. And they contacted me midsummer about possibly putting a team together for the show. So I immediately started thinking about who would be a good fit for this. And it was right before Billy and I started building the Cannonball van. And then it kind of went cold. And I hadn't heard back from him. And next thing I know, Billy and I are blasting across the USA. And I get a phone call and was asked if I could do a phone conference call with John Carter and Olivia. And I was like, sure. And they said, well, we had a team drop out last minute. You know, Billy's told you kind of all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And we were kind of back to the same 30-day build thing, which seems to be mine and Billy's, repertoire, building cars in 30 days and trying to do the impossible. And at that point, Billy, I had already kind of talked to him, and he's like, yeah, I'm in. And as we started talking about vehicles, it kind of helped keep us awake on the run of what we would build, what we would do, what they want. And finally, I came across this Pajero. It basically looked like a Kia sitting in a field. And it was bought for a rural mail route. And from there, the lady's like, yeah, take it. Do whatever you want to with it. And Billy started, resourcing everything he could. He was doing a lot of stuff with his, wanted to do some camping and stuff with the family, had some tents and stuff already picked out that he planned on buying.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the best things was the little cots he got for our tent, because I don't know how we would have slept outside in 5-degree weather, just trying to stay off the ground. But
So
he was researching all that stuff. I was realizing that there was nothing available to buy for this Mitsubishi, and that's what led up to buying the truck in Colorado and kind of just stripping it of the parts we needed and leaving it there for just in case situations. And, to touch on the part earlier about like how overlanding and stuff, the neat part that I saw is Billy and I grew up doing this. It was normal for us. It wasn't like it was out of our wheelhouse. It was kind of like, oh, so we're going camping with the family, but we're taking our best friend and doing it, and we're going to get to go off-roading at the same time.
Yeah.
So that was kind of how the connection started and came together, from my perspective. And the neat part was we were virtually able to take a vehicle almost identical to what had dropped out. I think it was a right-hand drive Land Rover, Range Rover or something, and it was a British team, a few guys, and sitting in with this oddball Pajero, it was almost like it was a perfect situation. So we kind of that's how it all started, from the battle on the beach to the cannonball to us planning and prepping it. And Billy was a perfect candidate, because him and I also shared the part that we're used to building things by ourselves. There's seldom somebody there to hold the wrench. There's seldom there somebody to grab the other side of the hood. So, we always had to figure it out on our own. So when it comes to a challenge where either I was required to do something or he was required to do something, we were in good hands with each other,
Mm-hmm.
because we were both used to doing everything ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, that was the nice thing about building a vehicle, from scratch, is we kind of already have an idea of whose strong suits are what and where. And so when it come to challenges, we kind of just took our roles and just, done our thing. So
yeah. I find it interesting that, and I'm curious to know if you thought about the Pajero or Montero platform and then found one, or was it not even on your radar until you saw it sitting in this field? Because I will tell you, a Mitsubishi Montero / Pajero would not be any part of my thought process in building an overland vehicle for a challenge like this.
I've always been interested in the Montero sports.
Really?
Honestly, it was off our radar. I had seen this thing sitting there. I was cleaning up a car collection, and Billy and I we had thought about several things, but the biggest part that we were asked to bring to the show was to bring something unique. And that's a tough build in 30 days to bring something crazy unique. I mean, I talked about building a 4-wheel drive Volkswagen bus. We come up with, possibly building one of the little Econolines from the 60s 4-wheel drive. And
Ford
then
Ranger.
when this came out,
you could go on
what's that?
Ford Ranger. I mean, it's literally the best off-road vehicle on the planet. I don't know why.
Not according to our guest a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. we have, that's not the case.
Yeah, well, we have Ford Rangers, but I guess Billy and I, one of the things that I feel like we box ourselves into, we like challenging ourselves. So to an extent, put ourselves at a disadvantage and see if we can prevail. And that is what the show really shows, is that by choosing the Pajero, and it's been noted that it has no support for parts or anything else, we've even talked about it, that we put ourselves at a disadvantage by picking that vehicle, but have still been able to stay in the show this long by pushing it to its limits and our willingness to compete. So
yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, because I've got, I got 15, 20 vehicles sitting out here. Fred's got, 30, 40 vehicles sitting.
Wait a minute. I like that he's just like, somewhere between 15 and 20. Like one, like it's so many vehicles, he's not sure what the number is. And two, that's just a normal thing in Oklahoma when you live in a Pizza Hut.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean,
Do you have any Frontiers with functioning transmissions?
Yes, we're looking for a transmission.
No,
for Nissan
most
Frontier.
of them are classics, but that's the thing is we could have built anything that you see every other day. I mean, we could have went with a Jeep. We could have, we could have thrown Dana 60s under something and an LS motor. We could have done anything. So the Pajero was way out in left field from anything that we have sitting around or, normally would have done.
And do you so that going back to the 30-day time frame, there's that old adage that says if you have 6 months, it'll take you 6 months. If you have 6 days, it'll take you 6 days. Do you think that 30-day time window was like it forced you to just focus, choose the priorities, get it done? Otherwise, it would linger for a year?
Oh, absolutely, man. I'm a procrastinator anyways. And so I'll wait until the last day for anything. And dude, when it comes down to crunch time, I would put me and Fred and our work ethic up against anybody's. I mean, when we know it has to be done, it's going to make it.
You'll find that extra gear.
Yeah.
I'll find that overdrive. Sure. I'll put it into overdrive and I'll get it done.
You haven't seen your extra gear in 10 years.
Speaking of overdrive, for instance, when we were leaving the driveway to do our cannonball run, I had a transmission rebuilt for the van, the ambulance. The transmission didn't make it out of the driveway. We pulled the van back in. We changed the transmission on my basketball court, put the original transmission in that had God knows how many miles on it, bolted it back in, and we headed for New York.
In 2 hours.
Yeah, and we were down the road in just a few hours, and Billy and I were high-fiving each other like, hey, I never done one that fast. Yeah, I didn't do it on my back. And we're relying on some transmission we know nothing about to go break some cannonball record. That's the way we think.
These guys changed the transmission in 2 hours. Matt's been talking about it for 6 months. It's just been sitting in his driveway.
It's been 2, but
2 months. Sitting in his driveway for 2 months, and never done it this fast on my back before. Not the first time I've heard that. So the Overlanders final episode airs this week. You said this Friday. So today's August 29th, 2023. So we're looking at September 2nd, I think is Friday-ish. I could probably click on the calendar button.
It'll be September 1st.
September 1st, yeah. So on Discovery Channel, we can see...
No, Outdoor Channel.
Outdoor Channel.
Yeah,
it was one of those channels. So on the Outdoor Channel, we'll be able to see this, and I'm sure we can go back and watch all the other episodes to see the progression of the show. Without giving too much away, like, after you guys have had this experience now, what would be the biggest takeaway from 8 days of Pajero off-roading and 15-hour days of filming? What was like the most impactful thing that you learned from the experience? We'll start with Fred. What was your experience, Fred?
The first thing you don't need is a rooftop tent. the first, scrap the rooftop tent, go buy a winch, go buy something you can use, get out, sleep in the outdoors. You don't necessarily have to sleep in your vehicle. The biggest takeaway that I have is being able to meet a guy I've known for a short period of time, have 2 amazing adventures with, bust our butts, do the absolute best we can with everything we do. And to me, at the end of the day, when the dust settles, that's what's left. The 2 guys that like cars, that build stuff. We get hectic. We get on each other from time to time. But in the scheme of things, to me, the camaraderie, the trusting of each other, the beautiful scenery was a bonus. But being able to do it, to be competitive, and I'm a bit older, so, it means a lot to me to still be able to be competitive at my age and, look back on the whole experience and just kind of take a deep breath and say, yeah, we did that. We did the best we can, and we have nothing to be ashamed of. And if at anything, at the end of the day, we've proven that you don't need rig to make it as far as we've made it.
That's a pretty awesome response to that. Billy, what was your takeaway from the experience?
So
and no pressure, but try and be as articulate.
Yeah, let's at least be that good. Come on, man.
So when we showed up out there, my perception was the same as it always has been, that this is just camping in your pickup and no big deal. But I learned a lot out there. We got into Grand Junction and we started looking at the trails and talking to the locals and how many trails we're actually losing. As far as 4-wheel drive trails, from everything from BLM land closing to just people tearing them up, people not doing what they're supposed to. And the amount of trash that we've seen out there and the destruction. And, as far as overlanders and, people being a part of this overlanding community, there's a real good sense of responsibility that I see in these people and in the groups, and they want to take care of this. They're getting out here, they're utilizing the land the way it should be. They're taking care of it. They're responsible. And the only way that we're going to be able to do this and keep these trails open is actually using them, and getting out and doing it. So it's a family sport. It's it can be a singular sport. It's anything you want it to be, man. Get out and do something, man. Get away from the TV, get away from the city, the hustle and the bustle, jump in your vehicle, grab a tent, a fishing pole, go cruise, man. And so we learned a lot, tread lightly. They had a bunch of rules that we followed, man, and they're awesome, and I think a lot of people take it for granted, and it was real eye-opening for me, just what it stood for.
So we've had a lot of interaction with the Tread Lightly team. We've interviewed a couple of those guys and done some stuff with them. And I think I'm really impressed that you came away from the experience with something that we have talked about a lot on this show, is the responsibility, the camaraderie, and the community around off-roading and overlanding. And it's really easy to see the bad examples that do the things, the trash, the tearing things up, and point to that as the general rule of the off-road community. But anybody that spends any time finds that those are people that aren't part of the off-road community. There's someone that just bought a vehicle that happened to have a transfer case or a side-by-side and took it out for the first time, and they no one's taught them the right way to be. And it's super heartwarming to see that you kind of made some assumptions, and as you went into this, you realized how much our community takes it serious. The pack in, pack it out, the tread lightly principles, the all of the things that we do to conserve the land that we love driving on and spending time on. I think that's a really profound observation, and I'm going to one-up you on Fred. I think yours was better than Fred's.
You shouldn't have to be taught to not leave your trash.
Dude, I get it.
Nope.
I 100% get it.
You know what I mean? Like who needs to be taught that?
Apparently,
apparently people do. You know what I mean? But,
a lot of people do, and what do we pick up, Billy? Like 160 pounds of garbage.
I think
that
it was like
just what they
like
weighed. And that's
so
just what they weighed. We kept throughout that whole entire episode. We continued to pick up trash. Billy was like, "Hey, Fred, we've also got to concentrate on what we're doing too." And I thought that part of it was that they were still going to collect more trash at the end of the day. So our miscommunication, even in competition, we still prevailed. They scaled like 160 pounds of trash. But what would you say? Was it closer to 300 pounds by the time we were done, Billy?
Yeah. So one of the challenges was picking up trash. Our first weigh-in was like 127. We didn't really know that the challenge was over. So we continued to pick up trash for like the next 10 miles.
Are we supposed to do this? I don't know. Keep loading the bag. We
had bungee cords and ratchet straps tying stuff to our roof. We had a kitchen table.
That's pretty much how I hold my truck together anyways on a normal day, just bungee cords and duct tape.
That's why we had them. It's real easy. Just flop them over the trash. So
So I want to know, if you were to get that phone call today that says you've got 30 days to build an overland vehicle for a challenge, would you choose the Pajero again?
No.
They would put 60s in an LS and a JK.
So I'm gonna go back.
I would say the biggest thing, if we chose the Pajero, after it caught on fire on the way to the first challenge, we would probably do some better upgrades, like maybe give it a little more horsepower. It was really lacking in power, where they pretty much almost had people pushing us up the hill to the snowy start. But the Pajero, all in all, this is my personal opinion. I was absolutely 110% impressed with not just the vehicle's capability, but its durability, because every one of our competitors thought that vehicle was a hoopty that was just going to break and be left on the side of the trail.
It was.
Well,
it
could make it through the challenge and still be a hoopty.
Oh, yeah, it was a hoopty. I mean, it's tough, but it's a hoopty. Dude, we had no heater in November in the mountains. Come on, man.
I think that qualifies as hoop division. That's 100%. And for those of you that don't know what a hoopty is, you're too young to be listening to the show. Go to bed.
I'll tell you right now, I want a Lexus. Those guys had heated seats, man.
Yes.
I mean, if I'm gonna do it again, I'm going in comfort. They had a refrigerator. We had ice in an ice chest. They had everything, man.
Where was the Lexus team from?
Dude, have you ever heard of Slee Off Road?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. 100%. We know who they are.
So,
yeah.
It was Ben and Christo were the other team.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say they were really dialed in.
So if Slee makes
I guess you'll have to tune in on Friday to see how tuned in they were.
Yeah.
I'm just saying their vehicle was really dialed in, because they've got a bunch of stuff that's right in that Overland.
If they make it or they sell it in their shop, it was on it. I mean, that thing was a Swiss Army knife, and I love it.
Yeah. I gotta say, by
far they have some amazing equipment. You pull in with a vehicle like ours, and you look around and you see the Rugged Ridge Jeep, and you see the Bait purple Jeep, and just beautiful rigs there, and then Lexus. It's got everything you can possibly put on it, and it looks good. It's not like gaudy. The awning was maybe a little bit much, but it was a beautiful rig. But in our essence, I couldn't wheel in something like that, because to me, I am a hoopty driver. I enjoy the ruggedness of the build, and not only that, I'd have to mortgage my house in order to be able to afford it.
Mm-hmm. So I'll tell you, that's because as far as the awning is concerned, you didn't go on the Mojave Trail trip we did about 3 years ago, where there was zero shade, and I actually argued against bringing an easy up. What do we need that for? And we all cooked in 100 and
we fucked around and we found out.
Yeah, it was
400 degrees.
Yeah, it was
picked on flat rocks.
Everybody was like 50 yards apart from each other, scrambling for shade next to bushes. Like it was pretty terrible. But yes, if you can afford an awning, it might be worth it.
Yeah,
it is worth it. I will tell you firsthand, it is worth it.
Or know somebody with an awning. And that's what I do.
I don't. I think if it was like, if I got that call and it was build something unique, bring something different, Mitsubishi wouldn't have been on my list. But like a Nissan Xterra, what I think is an older vehicle, maybe an FJ Cruiser. Definitely none of the Jeep products, unless it was an old Wagoneer or Comanche, like something older like that.
Yep.
I don't know how many vehicles I would have to list before I got to the Pajero.
Well, yeah, but you know, like Fred said, we were talking about a Volkswagen van or an A100 van before that. So the Pajero was a huge step up from that.
Yeah, well, and it was probably just one of those things where like you see it there and you're like, yes, I can do that. I can make that into this vehicle. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, honestly, it probably could have been a Jeep Cherokee sitting there and it would have been our build. It was just there in the time we needed it to be, and it worked perfect, you know?
Yeah, but if it was a Jeep Cherokee, you could have had the build done in a weekend.
Oh, yeah, 33s and go home, you know?
Yes. Corey always refers to his Montero as the poor man's GX.
Okay. I could see that. I could see because the Montero does have that luxury interior feel that the GX does.
Well, it's similar size and shape and all that stuff, but it's definitely not a GX.
For sure. What on the 8-day trail trip with the challenges and stuff? Which day was the most difficult and why?
You know. I'd say first day with you, Billy.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep, first day definitely. We were struggling. We had some bad fuel in the Pajero. We were traveling up. I think it's like 10,000 feet or something. Because even in the afternoon, we dropped down and we were still at 5,000 feet. So first day, first challenge. Really hadn't met anybody, seen him wheel, and we're going 15, 20 miles an hour up this mountain. It's as fast as we can go. Black smoke pouring out of this thing. And Billy and I are looking at each other saying, we're going home. And with Billy's quick wit and getting the first trivia question right, we were able to choose where we went on that trail, and it worked out perfect for us because we had psyched one of our teams out. And we wound up actually posting the second fastest time. But that, to me, was the most difficult part.
Yeah, and it was cold, man, and that's when we honestly realized that day we had no heater.
Oh, man. So you didn't know you didn't have a heater until you got there?
No, man, it's warm in Oklahoma, even in November. So we get up.
We don't need jackets. We got a heater.
We're literally standing in 1.5 feet of snow, and we realize we have no heater. It's pretty epic, man.
See, Matt would not have left the driveway until he tested the air conditioner and heater first. He's like, I don't even care if the drivetrain works.
Oh no, I'd have known a week in advance. Like, now you know, guys, I'm not gonna make this trip.
I threw the air conditioner out. I took the AC condenser, pitched it so I could put an 8274 Warren winch up underneath the front bumper.
All right. Well, if you're going up into the winter of Colorado, that makes sense. I can see that.
So we found this.
Yeah, we needed the room, so we figured that we needed the winch more than we needed the AC. I think we got up that morning. It was like 5 degrees or something.
Dude, I'll tell you how cold it was. So we had a Mr. Buddy heater in our tent, and the first night it kept shutting off on us. So I'm swapping bottles. I'm like, man, this thing's burning through a ton of propane. No, man, it just got so cold it wouldn't stay lit. Yeah. So we're having to set our bottles in front of our heater so we can preheat them to put them in the damn heater.
You know, that's the good thing is that's not dangerous at all. Like putting an open flame on your propane tank is probably a good idea.
It recommends that on the bottle.
It says preheat with torch
in front of the fire.
Yeah. Of the challenges that you had to do, and I encourage everybody to go watch these. So because I that's what I'm going to do after this episode is go watch these. Of the challenges that you had to do, which one was the one that surprised you the most? Either how difficult it was or the fact that you were able to do it.
Knife throwing, I'm out.
The what?
Yeah, so we had a axe knife throwing challenge and right in the middle of one day, and one knife out of 5 teams got stuck.
No kidding.
And it was
but the ninjas make that look so easy.
Oh man, yeah, for sure. No, it was absolutely miserable. No. I think I hit the board once out of 3 throws. Yeah.
It would be more dangerous if you were laying on the ground in front of the board than if you were actually the board.
That's interesting. Like that, I wouldn't have thought. That's so funny that it was that difficult. So, how many? You said there was 5 teams.
Yeah.
And 2 people per team.
Yep.
So 10 people, each threw 3 knives, 30 knives,
Yep.
and one of them stuck.
Yeah.
Man, there was no ball players. In
Oh
that
yeah,
group,
and don't get me wrong, it sold really well, but it was all by the grace of God that any of them stuck in the board. There was no skill involved. We all looked like we were, throwing rocks at squirrels. I mean, it was just an impossibility, and it worked out the one time. And great, they won the challenge. And at that point, I just realized I probably wasn't going to go home and start throwing knives and axes.
At any point where the producer's like, "Are you serious, guys? Are you kidding me right now? Can you not get this?"
To be honest with you, I'm surprised they even aired it.
Oh, that's something.
I for sure thought that was going to get cut.
They were like, "All right, look, clearly we misjudged this group with the knife throwing. We need to find something else to do. We're going to try some eating contest or something. Knife throwing isn't their jam."
So John Carter, the producer, he is a great outdoorsman, marksman. He walks up after, all of us look like buffoons, and he throws them and sticks them all in the board. He's like, yeah, it's not that bad. And it just made us all look like we were peons. And it just made it look so easy. But it just goes to show, if you're good at what you do, then it comes easy to some people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure. Of all the challenges, which one was the most fun? Which one did you enjoy the most?
Man, I don't know about that one.
I kind of like the blindfold challenge was kind of fun for me.
Yeah.
That sounds kinky. Tell me about that one.
So, yeah, that one, I like that one too.
What'd you have to do?
Billy, I'll let you tell this because you saw more of it than I did.
That is true. So yeah, we pull up, we're going midway through a trail. We pull up and kind of on a blind corner, and they let us know that they're going to blindfold the driver, and the passenger has to guide you through this. So yeah, you turn a corner and then you're actually about halfway up this hill. So you got to climb up the rest of this hill and get on top of this rolling hill. And so then they tell us that there's an opportunity for a perk, basically to gain a little time. So there was an easy route and a hard route. And man, it just one of those deals, got to throw it all in. So we took the hard route. And yeah, that one was interesting. It was fun. So it was 100% trying to figure out how to tell a guy, left, right, go, don't go. You're trying to crawl up over rocks, going down through dips, so it was interesting.
We do that when we're spotting each other on the radios, and it still doesn't work out very well, and nobody's blindfolded. I can't imagine. That to your point, that is a very difficult communication to a person that can't see what you're, because we do so much of it by feel. Like we do, we can feel how much throttle we need to give and a little bit of turn here. How did you commute? So Fred was blindfolded. You were giving direction. How did you relay the information to him in a way that made it understandable?
About halfway through, I figured out that, it was easiest to concentrate on one thing. So I would basically, I couldn't tell him how much to turn, turn left. Well, how much? So it's just, I'd tell him left, hold, right, hold. And then Fred, he's got enough driving experience that, he was running the gas and brake. I didn't have to even mess with that. I mean, he could feel us rolling into a rock. He'd get us up over it. I might have to tell him to, bump it or go a little harder or slow down, stop, but no, just continuously yelling out direction, left, hold, right, hold, that was the easiest, I think. And then Fred, of course, being, an old race car driver, he had put some tape around the steering wheel before we started, so he knew where center was at all times every time he passed that tape. So he had that going, that was his idea. I mean, so just every little thing come together, and our experience, I think, really pulled that one through for us. But
Yeah, that's a make or break moment right there where you're screaming at each other, trying to, I could see other teams screaming at each other. No, I said go this way, and next they're off the cliff, right?
I mean, you're going to break the car.
Hey, you know, one of my favorite parts after seeing the episode, that some of them had a blindfolded driver and they were outside of the car pointing what direction to go. That was my favorite part of the show.
Yeah, there was a couple spotters that got out of their vehicle standing there yelling back which way to go.
That seems inefficient.
That might have been footage from one of our runs.
I think on our next run we're going to try it. I think we're going to try to blindfold each other.
We're going to do the blindfold
and
challenge.
See what happens and make sure it gets.
You want to make it real interesting? Blindfolded spotter.
Well, the thing about it is Billy deserves a lot of credit for that challenge, because a lot of people panic and they start freaking out, and Billy, he nailed everything just right because he gave just enough information. A lot of people, like, the more they want, the louder they get. And Billy he kept his tone left. So I would keep steering. And when he stopped saying left, I would stop steering. And, which was a really huge help. And not only that, the thing is we both kept our cool. And a lot of times people can't do that. And being able to communicate, both of us keep our cool. I think we wound up winning the challenge pretty handily.
Yeah, because that's the minute the passenger is trying to convey something that they can clearly see and or feel, and you can't, the driver can't. And if there's a disconnect there, that's the opportunity. It's just like communication in the real world. When there's that disconnect there, you naturally want to raise your voice or get angry or whatever. And the ability to, especially for a group, for a couple of guys that have been working together on building vehicles and know what to do, and you do this, I'll do this, that teamwork experience outside of the vehicle probably played into your ability to communicate to each other and get through that challenge successfully.
Well, it's a pretty rough trail that we were going down previously, so he had no idea what was getting into, and he's driving on 100% faith basis that I ain't going to put us in a bad spot, too. So, yeah, no, it took trust and patience on both parts for sure. But I would say that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you. I was just going to say that to add to what Billy said, though, Billy and I did that throughout every single challenge. The first challenge, Billy and I thought we were going home just because of the situation we were in. And Billy saw the opportunity that he could shift the transmission while I was wheeling through the snow to keep giving us gears. So the difference in each challenge was both of us saw the opportunity of what we needed to do. And often Billy would just grab the horns and we would work together and get ourselves through it without falling into the panic mode of screaming at each other, both of us being right, and, basically falling apart. So the blindfold challenge was the most fun to me. The first challenge was so stressful because we hadn't really done work together yet. And we managed to finish in the second fastest in the first challenge because of our teamwork.
Yeah, so many of those types of events, when you watch those shows where there's challenges like that, the breakdown of the team, the breakdown of communication is the beginning of the breakdown of everything else, right? And if you guys have the relationship where you can maintain that composure, you made the point earlier, Fred, where there's going to be times where you're frustrated and you may get on each other, but there's a level of respect and understanding, and you get right back on the horse and you do it again. Not everybody can do that, right? That's a learned skill with someone that takes time to build.
Yeah, we'd get out there, and of course I'm hot-headed anyways. You put me in a competitive environment and man, it goes out the window. So, I'm normally loud and everybody thinks I'm an ass anyhow. Fred, man, I tell you, he just takes it with the stride. We get on each other's nerves. At the end of the day, we're high-fiving, go team, and just water under the bridge, man. Didn't matter. But no, we had a pretty good dynamic up there, and we relied on each other all the way through it. But at the end of the day, man, we showed up to compete. And what I mean by that is we got up early every day. We were the first ones on the trailhead. We were going over our rig. We were the last ones to go to bed. Everybody is out going, hanging out, drinking, whatever. We're working on our rig to make sure it's in tip-top shape every night. So dude, we come to compete every single day, So I think that was the big difference in our strategy up there. But
yeah, you were players, not partiers. So I don't know that we would be able to do that. I would be standing there at the trailhead by myself in the morning.
There was a time where I used to be able to brag about being the party guy and not having to worry about because I drove a Nissan Frontier, but now my Frontier's let me down, so I can't brag about that.
And I will say there was a time when you could be the party guy and still get up in the morning and ride like the competitor.
Oh yeah, it was dirt bike
those
days.
days are gone.
Oh my
those
God,
guys are
those
so
I barely
gone.
remember those days. I rely on you for some of those memories.
No, those guys are gone.
That was real, right? I used to do that.
You did. You were awesome. There was a time when you were awesome. So what is the next challenge? Whether it be cannonball or overlanding, like where does Ashmore Taff go from here for the next adrenaline rush?
So, since I've started hanging out with Fred's got this deal where every single year he tries to one up the year before. So, he's seeking out bigger, better opportunities. He's always putting himself out there and going forward. That's never really been my style. I've always had things that I wanted to do. So Fred, he's 100% supported, like, let's go do it, So I want to do Ultimate Adventure. One of the other competitive teams that was out there sponsors UA every year. So got in with them a little bit. And so, getting my rig done to, hopefully next year be something we'll be able to plan on. He wants to help me build that. Fred's got some things he wants to do. I want to run another cannonball. I want to go faster than a van. So, no, we got other plans. Fred's got a whole bucket list of things that he wants to do. And man, it's just finding cars and building them. And that's basically what they all revolve around for us. So.
You got 15 of them in your yard, man. Just build one of those.
Oh, they've all got plans. I'm that guy that, I'm going to build that one day.
Yeah. And it's sitting out there, and every time you see it, you can picture it in your head, what that build's going to look like when you look at it, right?
Oh, dude, I've built every one of them ground up in my head.
Yep, 100%.
So, yep.
And that's good enough for some of us.
Well, why do you think?
Wow, that's amazing. What are you talking about? It's a pile of shit.
Man.
No, man. It's amazing. In here, it's amazing.
You don't see what I see.
Yeah, exactly. Fred, what about you? What kind of things do you want to do next?
Oh, well, oddly enough, David Freiberger, the guy with a Roadkill.
Yep.
A guy that works for him started bugging me about doing the duct tape drags, and Freiberger got poking me and said, hey, why don't you come down and come down to Tucson next month? And I kind of said, I don't know. I'm pretty busy. I'm supposed to have my daughter's wedding. Well, while I was in Maine, my daughter actually canceled her wedding and opened September up for me, which if you're counting the days,
thanks, honey,
is about 30 days away.
Well, you're almost to Tucson.
Yeah, exactly. Just stay there.
Yeah, well, I would if I could, but I got to get back and build something that's valued at less than $5,000, and so that's kind of what I'm plugging away on right now. But I told Billy after we got done, him and I kind of took a hiatus because we were going so hard, so long, and we just needed to exhale. Our wives needed to have some attention and do some of the stuff they wanted done and trips and things with them. And for me, I kind of, took a little bit of a break off. I bought some really cool cars to put to my retirement at some point. But the next thing I told Billy is I said, and I he's probably sick of me asking this. I'm like, hey, let's do that UAW. Let's do that UA. Let's do that UA. And which is different. Billy has young kids. They're in school, in preschool, and I'm very freelance. I have the ability to basically do what I want every day when I go up. So I'm always asking him about the UA project because I want to be able to help him do some of his goals and accomplish, some of the things he wants to do. My list is sort of endless. Right now, I'm going to concentrate on the duct tape drag. I own the world record Cannonball Jaguar, which was an auction that I went to and Billy wound up buying a car at, and bought that car off of Dennis Collins and Richard Rollins, and we're going to race that across the USA in probably 2024. So that's on the horizon as well. And I have a bunch of field fillers in there that I'm gathering parts for and stuff. But, like Billy, you look at these cars in your driveway and they all have a purpose. And sometimes that dream morphs into something else, and that car sitting there goes away to fund a different build or because your plans change or your things change. And for me right now, 30 days, I'm concentrating on the duct tape drag. I'm going to see, hopefully maybe Billy will be available and he can go to that with me. I know it's something he's mentioned before. We haven't really had a chance to talk about it. I've been in Maine the last 3 weeks and got back, worked for the weekend, and headed right out to California, and then coming back and going to Colorado. So yeah, that's where I am right now. There's some things on the horizon, but realistically, so one of the big focuses, I want to help him with that UA build. That's something I really want to see happen. He's got a really cool rig, and I want to see him out on that trail.
Billy, what kind of rig are you trying to build for that ultimate adventure?
An Isuzu Rodeo.
God, you just can't get enough. Can
I love
you?
it.
Like,
I love it.
I
love it.
Man, I just want something different, And my thing is, if I'm going to go to UA, I'm not taking a Jeep. I'm not taking something that somebody else has ran, So, that's the body's the only thing Isuzu. So, I've got everything sitting there. I'm running a 5.3 LS turbo 400 205. I got Dana 60, 14 bolt rear. So yeah, it'll be fully built. But like you said, Fred said, he wants to help me. He wants to see me get started, but I've built this thing in my head and I'm not going to get started on it because I know it's a big money project and it's going to be the way I want it. So I'm sitting here thinking dollar signs, and it's like, man, I can't just throw this together because I know how much it's going to take to get there. And so, yeah, that one's holding me up some, but.
You'll just wait till you're 30 days out.
And I want to know where the cutoff is, like on a map, where it goes from the Isuzu to the Isuzu. Because out here in Cali, it's Isuzu.
It's probably like the Colorado. That's the Rockies. Like anything on that side of the Rockies, it becomes the Isuzu. Mm-hmm. Is it?
Billy and I have this whole pronunciation thing we tease each other about. He calls, I call it Coors, he calls it Kurs. And I said, well, do you open doors? So we tease each other back and forth about that stuff all the time. It kind of keeps us awake and kind of go back and forth with it.
That's fun. Is it the square body Isuzu?
No, it's a 2002. So it's so it's a little bit rounded one. Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's gonna be interesting. I still wouldn't do it. I said again, I don't know how many vehicles there would be on the list before I got to the Isuzu.
You throw 60s on that thing, it's like a buggy. It's a rock buggy.
Man, so my thing is, I love the West Coast builds, low center of gravity builds, big tires, all droop, no extension on them. I want a narrow body, wide track width, so 1 ton.
I want a narrow body too, man, but it's been a long time. I can't. I'm too old. I can't keep it up.
Unfortunately, we have wide bodies and wide track
bodies, no axles at all, no droop left,
and no keeping up.
It can't keep up. Nope, it's all downhill, man.
You sound like you're talking about fat fenders, not wide bodies.
Man, my wife is completely going to think we're not talking about cars anymore.
Oh, that's 100% a vehicle conversation right there.
Hey, that sounds like one more download that we'll get this week.
She will never download this show. She will never. She'd be like, I'm not listening to that ever again.
That's all we ask. Like, can you just have your significant others download? Thank you.
See those numbers bump up to 13 for the week.
That's right.
Guys, look, I have to say, we talked about it a little bit before we went live. Like, the team at Hatch had reached out and said, hey, would you like to interview these guys? I said, yeah, let's do this. I've been super busy and really didn't get the chance to do any research. And I'm kind of glad that I didn't, because I've the ability to hear your guys' story firsthand, like from scratch, with going into it with no knowledge of what's happening. I'm super impressed with what you guys not only have done with the cannonball runs and the Dom DeLuise ambulance to Overlanders on HatchTV, to the things that you're talking about doing in the future. I feel like I want to keep engage with you guys and follow what you're doing. What's the best place for people to go and follow you, Billy? Where can people find you?
Taff B5150 on Instagram.
That's Taff, TAFFB, as in Billy 5150.
Yep.
And you've got a couple pictures of some trucks. I mean, again, it looks like you brought home another pickup truck that needs work to drop next to the other 15 on your.
So that's how I fund the big projects, man. Buying cheap ones, getting them running, flipping them, and saving the money for the big ones.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. And then Fred, what's the best place for people to go to find you?
You can find me on Instagram under Ashmore Speed and Performance. If you abbreviate it, it's ASAP. I do some stuff on TikTok. It's ASAP, New York to NY to LA. And you can find me on my own homepage. It's just Fred Ashmore. I keep my page public. You can check out my builds. Ashmore Speed and Performance on YouTube. I do a little bit there. There's a little bit of everything on my page. You know, like Billy says, you know, we keep the small ones, you know, moving so we can get the more expensive ones rolling. And there's a lot of those little things on my page. You'll see a lot of them on Billy's page. A lot of good information, just, you know, fun antics that him and I both do or have done or are looking forward to doing.
Yeah, I'm checking it. There's a really good on your Instagram. There's a really good carousel of the Pajero sitting next to that Lexus, and some of the other shots of you guys in Moab for the upcoming Overlanders finale on Outdoor TV. Hey, guys, seriously, super impressive. I've really enjoyed hanging out with you. I wish I was in the Pizza Hut shack because it looks like although it is hot and sweaty and shitty and mosquitoes. But I have really enjoyed this conversation. I thank you guys very much for being on the show. And I would love to catch up with you guys as you start doing more of these things. So please keep us in mind and stay in touch. And when you've got some other random ass adventure you want to tell us about, let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us.
All right. With that
said,
I
appreciate you having us. And I'm gonna find all your guys' pages, make sure we follow them, and let us know on your links and stuff so we can share your guys' stuff as well.
Absolutely. We will, when this gets released, we'll edit it. I'll send you guys some emails with all those details going forward so you guys have an idea when this is happening. But again, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it. And you guys have a great night.
You too. Thank you very much for having us.
You too.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right. We will end the recording there at 1:30. I will, guys, you guys are awesome, man. I'm super impressed. I'm super excited about what you guys are doing, and I'm sure that our audience will love this story. So like I said, I will edit this episode tomorrow night after work. I'll get it all put together. I'll put together some social media posts. I will email you guys once I get it uploaded to the media host tomorrow night, and it should be available for download on Thursday morning on all major podcast platforms. And then usually Thursday afternoon or Friday, we'll start doing the social media promotion and tagging you guys and driving traffic your way.
Awesome. Perfect. Feel free to, if you need to rob, or all my stuff should be public. Instagram's a little harder. I guess you'd have to screenshot it. but feel free to take anything off of any of my pages and use it for you guys.
Perfect. I'll let you guys know if we need anything tomorrow. I'll include the Hatch team on some of that stuff as well and Discovery Channel. I'm sorry, Outdoor. Why do I keep saying Discovery Channel? Outdoor Channel to drive some traffic that direction as well. And then, like I said, we'll do the promotion on Thursday/Friday. And if there's anything you guys need, please do not hesitate to reach out.
Cool, man. Thanks a lot.
Definitely. I apologize. Like I said, I misread the email, and for some reason I thought it was at 9:20, not 8:20.
You are good, dude. Like I said at the beginning, we're not professional enough to care.
At least you read the email.
We're just a bunch of yahoos in a spare bedroom. Don't worry about it, man.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that at all. We all started somewhere.
Yep, absolutely. I think we're going to end here, too. We're going to start and end in this room. That's as far as we go. Unless someone wants to do something more than that. All right, well, Fred.
HatchTV, if you're listening.
HatchTV. Do you need a podcast show? Fred, drive safe. Be careful with your adventure. And Billy, we'll see you later. Thanks, guys, so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Perfect. Thank you guys for having us.
Because Palm Springs sucks.
Yeah, Palm Springs sucks. It's going to be hot there.
Oh, it's going to be a turn and burn. And my favorite part of California, you know what it is?
Leaving.
Exactly. Bingo. You nailed it. I hate California. I think Billy was the exception. And my brother one time when I did runs to stay more than a day in California. I am ready to leave.
No, well, you should have no problem doing that this time because it's going to be hot as balls there.
Oh, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it at all.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Take it easy, man.
Bye.
Thanks very much. Have a good day.
See ya.
Bye.
All right, that was awesome. Do you guys? Anybody need a break?
See,
of course you do.
Billy.
Be tough.
I still think there was a missed opportunity there with the Predator when they made that new one, the Prey, that they didn't connect it to like Billy in some way.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Even just like a reference, like.
There could have been. We were so busy dorking around when we were watching that. And who knows what references.
So busy chomping down pizza.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, pizza. That sounds good.
I know. There was something I wanted to talk about this week. Oh, I kind of remember what that is. Let me make a note of that.
Axle's breaking.
Definitely something big coming up. Axle's breaking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, weren't you on that run this weekend?
Oh, yeah. No, I wasn't on that run.
Oh.
I was supposed to go. We were potentially headed down the hill to the doctor, so we held off, but we didn't go. So.
Yeah, I was dropping my son off that night, and then on the way back home, I saw Joey on the freeway. He looked fucking tired, dude. He looked like he didn't even know what was going on, dude. Because like I pulled up next to him and I honked, and he just looked over, and I'm like, I don't even know if he knew it was me. Yeah, he just like.
Who's this fuckhead in a Frontier?
Yeah, look at his asshole. Yes, I know I have a Jeep.
He's like, yes, I know the doors are off.
He's like, yes, the doors are missing and the roof is off. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it just looked like it was a long day up on the trail.
Well, the trail that they were proposing was going to be a long ass day.
Yeah, I mean, I got the itinerary. It was like Gold Mountain, and then like lunch, and then
Rattlesnake Canyon.
Yeah, Rattlesnake Canyon. I was like, what? I'm like, isn't that like on the backside, like of Johnson, Johnson Valley? I was like, yeah, that's a long ass day.
I had originally, I was like, yeah, I'll go do Gold Mountain, but I'm not going to go down Rattlesnake and then back home.
Mm-hmm.
it's fine for you guys because you get to the bottom. You need to be at the bottom anyways.
Yeah,
I'd have
but
to
that's
turn
like
around
a
and come back
2-hour
up.
detour though.
Yeah.
I have heard though that Rattlesnake has changed a ton via the hurricane of the century, and so I definitely want to get up and do that trail soon.
All right. 3, 2, 1. All right. Thank you to Fred and Billy for joining us. That was a great story. I am definitely excited to watch the Overlanders on HatchTV and see how this plays out. Couple things. First is your boy is a published author at this point. I really feel like there's a future for me. I did a.
There's not.
No, there's not. I know there's absolutely no future for me in any capacity. Jose and I did the install of the Midland Radio SPK 100 external speaker in the Ranger a few weeks ago. And I did a full write-up of the install and review of the speaker, and that is now up on the outdoorby4.com website. So if you go to outdoorby4.com, which you should do every day to check on all of the things that they have going on, and if you, on the top, you go to the magazine section and click on articles, you'll find the field review of the Midland Radio SPK 100 external speaker. And this kind of goes through the process. We talked about it a little bit when we did the install. When we interviewed Midland, the speaker itself had not been released yet. So the funny thing is, if you watched live on YouTube, I had made a reference to the speaker when we first started talking to the ladies, and in the episode on Thursday, I edited that part out because I realized I wasn't supposed to say that. So I'm not good at my job. But the external speaker is an option that I think has some really good benefits. We've talked about it internally about where that would work and what makes the most sense. For my specific application, we chose to mount the receiver behind the back seat and put the external speaker under the front seat, and I've got the Cat 5 cable running out, and my radio has all of the controls on the handheld microphone. So when I unplug the microphone and put it in the center console, you don't know there's a radio in there. You can't. It doesn't take up any space. All I have to do is plug that thing in, hit the power button, and I'm completely up and running. And it's been a very cool addition to the truck, and we're really going to get to run it through its paces in a couple weeks when we end up doing a run in September with an agency we're doing some work with. I'm sure we'll talk more about that.
I want to say I have put mine through the paces.
Have you?
On a few cases now.
Hey, Zen, go outside.
Drive to the liquor store. Let me see if I can hear you.
Yeah. The difference is you can't ignore it. It's so clear. There's zero feedback, interruptions. We're stupid for not having ever done it before that.
There's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons that we are stupid. Why. That's just one of them.
That's only one of the reasons why. It's the ease of use. I love having just the handheld right there. That, and at least for my case, once I grab the handheld, I know I'm not going to change the settings or the volume or anything like that because all mine's down on the unit,
Mm-hmm.
But the overall sound quality, the reception, all that stuff, it's
game changer.
Highly
it's good.
noticeable.
It's game changer. It's what
A-okay.
communication is supposed to be.
Okay, USA.
Yeah.
And to Casey's point, we've just been dumb and ignored it for a very long time. I am very, very happy with the quality of the Midland product, the ease of installation, the sound quality of the external speaker. We'll talk more about the Midland products, the speaker, and some of the other things we have going up in the next couple weeks. Like I said, especially when we get the opportunity to really put it through its paces as a team in September. And we have a couple of the Midland handheld X-Talk radios that we want to use and test those out while we're doing spotting. Because that's another big thing is that whenever we're spotting, you're jumping out of the truck and you've got the handheld and you're trying to communicate. I mean, we've had issues in which we haven't been able to communicate clearly and spot people through a trail because of the equipment we were using in the past, and I don't see that being an issue any longer.
Mm-mm. Cody, you have the tall antenna on, the spring one on, or the little stubby guy?
So right now, look, stubby is all anybody needs, as far as I'm concerned. Right now, I have the stubby on, and the 6 dB long antenna I have under the back seat. So just for normal, I have the antenna up there. If we were to hit the trail, it's as simple as unscrewing the small antenna and screwing the big one on to give me that additional range. So
right, but I'm going to send you a video about that.
Okay.
And my understanding of antennas was all wrong, and this just goes with the two that came with the radio, right? That 6 dB spring one and then the little stubby one on the different the wavelengths that those two different antennas send out. And from what I gather, for our use case, the stubby one is actually better.
Are you telling me that you're a wavelength scientist now?
The video is going to send you. It's a video of him in front of a whiteboard.
Talking on the radio. So Casey.
No. I'm going to send you this video, and it's interesting because he goes over
crayon drawings and sketches.
It's Midland. No, I don't want to say it's Midland specific, but he goes over a lot of the Midland products and their new antennas that they came out with.
He wrote Midland on his
heavy duty antennas. And
it's a video of him watching the video. It's like
somebody told me.
I feel like I probably put my antenna in the wrong place based on this video, but it's been working well. But I also feel like, I need this gigantic antenna, but you don't.
Look, so no one ever needs a gigantic anything. Just whatever it comes with, whatever the stock.
You get used to
the stock size is. You figure out how to work around.
Work with what you got.
You accept it and you move on.
Look, I know it's a small antenna, but it's cute.
And there's other good characteristics of the radio above and beyond the size of the antenna.
That little antenna is a very good listener.
And sense of humor.
It's really funny. Okay, enough antenna talk. We are very excited about the Midland radio stuff, and if you want to read my review of the external speaker from Midland Radio, please go over to outdoorx4.com, click on the magazine section, go down to articles, and just as a side note, on Outdoor by 4 magazine, if you go to magazine and scroll down to the bottom, there's a link to the Trail Chasers podcast. Yay! So thank you to Outdoor by 4 for all of that support and for letting me write things on paper and then you posting it, which surprised the shit out of me.
It went through.
I sent it and it didn't get kicked back.
There's no editing or nothing.
404 area, who dis?
Yep.
New website, who dis?
I have just a quick question.
Yep.
Like, if Casey in the past, he was in Delaware with his background, where is that? Is that
Ragnarok? That's the Ragnarok downtown. That's
downtown Ragnarok?
Yeah.
Or is Dubai?
No,
it kind of looks like Dubai or Tatooine.
Ragnarok isn't.
No, Ragnarok's like the
Asgard. I'm sorry. It's East Asgard.
Asgard?
It's East Asrex. Yeah. It's
on my other balcony. I can see the Temple of Asgard.
Oh, okay. Wow, high end.
Wow. Well, you are closer to the sun. You're closer to the Bifrost.
You're
for
doing
sure.
all right.
Yeah, look at the sun's literally right there behind me. You can see it poking through those towers.
If halfway through he yells Heimdall and he disappears, we know what's happening, right? So
every once in a while I got to deal with the Bifrost coming through right around 6 p.m. I get that Bifrost
Hey, I'm
glare on my
podcasting
TV.
here.
Yeah, best case scenario, you're Korg or not Korg, but what's the
Hey,
one?
what's up, dude?
Not Korg? What's the one dude that after Heimdall disappears, the dude that's like takes over for Heimdall and he's trying to use it to get guns and chicks and stuff. Best Scourge. Yeah, best case scenario.
Hey,
Yeah,
is it bad?
Feel free to log on to the Wi-Fi.
Is it bad that I don't want to see Guardians 3? Like, I have zero.
It's good.
I have zero desire.
It's really good. It's worth it. It's 100% worth it.
I kind of feel
it's good.
I kind of feel like the whole Marvel thing is like it's nosedived. It's
but okay, it's nosedived to like where you're at. Like you can watch it on if you have Disney Plus or maybe rent it for $5-10. Yeah, like it's worth that. Maybe it's not worth everything in Marvel now is probably not worth going to the theater.
The Guardians 3 has been out of the theater for a while.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. And you didn't go. Okay.
It's absolutely, I really warranted. I really felt like they did the story service and ended it in a great way. And Betty White agrees with me.
I guess I just don't know where the story's going now. Like, where's Marvel?
Well, they should have. There should be more Shang-Chi stuff like that. That's the best character of this new era of the new characters.
Doctor Strange. They should have put all their money on Doctor Strange.
The second one sucked. Like that second one was pretty
whack.
Okay. Shang-Chi was like a good character.
Hey,
like,
the first Doctor Strange was the best.
Of what? Of the two? Yes.
It was a good movie though. It's like in the universe it holds up.
That's what I'm saying. Sure.
Speaking of holding up, it didn't hold up this weekend. Sorry, what didn't hold up this weekend is Nicole's drive shaft.
I saw that.
What case?
Axle.
I'm sorry, axle shaft. So Nicole went to SoFi Stadium on Friday night with my wife to see Metallica. So they were there. I know Tammy didn't get home till like 1:30 in the morning. And somehow Nicole got her ass up and still went up to Big Bear on Saturday. When she texted, she's like, "We're doing Gold Mountain on Saturday. You want to go?" And I'm like, "Aren't you going to Metallica Friday night?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna power through." And so, I bet she's regretting that decision at this point. Casey, you probably know more about it than I do. I've just seen. I had a brief text message with her, and then I saw the video on Instagram. What the vehicle's currently sitting at your shop, correct?
It is currently sitting at our shop. I was supposed to go on that run with them up until the night before, early morning. There were some other things going on. I had to cancel at least. And probably about an hour after they were supposed to, Joey texted me, "Hey, we're at the trailhead, getting ready to start. Are you going to make it?" "Hey, yeah, I'm not going to make it," whatever. About an hour later, I just get a picture. What's this picture?
I got that picture too.
Oh, I'm like, oh, that doesn't look good. And then I immediately get a call. "Hey, so Nicole broke her axle." I'm like, all right, what the hell's going on? He's like, "Do you think it's going to be all right?" Something along those lines. No, I don't think it's going to be all right.
Yeah.
Maybe
Can we fix this?
Give me 20 minutes. Let me see if I can source an axle real quick. And so I called all the local parts places and tried to find an axle. Couldn't find an axle. And then they were explaining to me, they're like, "We don't think it's that bad. We found all the parts." Like, we think, like,
can you glue them back together?
Yeah.
Can you duct tape this?
And just for
I
reference,
really don't think it's that bad. I think, can we drive it? I'm like, or can we just take that one axle out and we can just be in like 3-wheel drive? I'm like, without seeing it, it's hard to make that assessment.
Jose and I learned that the hard way.
That's the move.
Jose and I learned that the hard way.
And also, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that the axle essentially holds the hub together. Like, you cannot drive that vehicle without an axle through that hub.
You can. Yeah, you can.
Toyotas do it all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's frowned upon.
I'm not going to go say. I'm not suggesting you go take your front axle out. I'm just saying
this Tacoma guys know about it.
In this situation, if she could have removed the axle from the wheel side because it was already pulled out of the hub side, the transmission side, she could have easily driven that truck in 2-wheel drive home.
I would not condone it.
Why?
I just wouldn't condone it.
What do you condone?
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, what's on
condone? Can you advise, or
is what's on that list?
Yeah, like who are you? Yeah, I wouldn't advise.
I would
condone it.
I would condone having.
Are you Bob Ford?
So I said, we're gonna limp it to the shop. Let's see what we can do. I'll meet you over there. And I took one look, and I was like, "Yeah, it's fucked. I can't get an axle today or even tomorrow. You know, Monday, best case scenario. We found out that we can get one from Ford. So here's what I asked her too. I said, "Is that the one that Cody and Jose replaced?"
Hey,
and she said, "Yes, it is."
F you. Don't throw us under the bus for that. It's worked perfectly fine for the last year.
Okay, look, and so that's
the shit out of that thing.
We all know,
and that's
the O'Reilly's ones aren't as strong as the OE ones. So
that's my assessment. Is that one? It could have already been weakened, just because of the way Nicole drives.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. Then go ahead.
And two, it was probably an inferior product just to begin with, because it wasn't an OEM part. It was probably whatever you guys could find locally cheap immediately from Billy Bob's Auto Parts or whatever the fuck it was down there. I don't know, but
hold on, real quick. Hold on, Jason.
I was like, "Hey, Nicole," I said, don't you have like a PT Cruiser at home or something?" And she was like, "It's him." She starts cracking up. She's like, "It's a Chevy Traverse or something." I'm like, "Whatever."
Jason from Outdoor by Four said, "Casey's the guy that tells you to get your VW towed when you could run it effectively on one cylinder."
That's very true. I've done it before.
That's exactly it. That's exactly
my VW bug used to run on 3 cylinders all the time.
I didn't tell her she couldn't drive it home. I said I wouldn't drive it to your house. So
yeah, Nicole, next time just pull the other end of the axle off of the wheel and drive it home. I mean,
and then drive it back up to the shop.
We're 100% convinced there's going to be. You've seen Nicole drive.
She's big time now, so when you're
35s, you can't drive like Nicole drives on 35s.
Snapping axles, so you're gonna have to just carry one spare one.
Yeah, she's gonna have to pick up a couple extras.
And so we recently ordered her 2 axles.
Well, there you go. See,
in preparation for the next one.
How is it blown up axle not that bad? It's like. Yeah, it's not that bad. All the ball bearings.
They were thinking that they had found the internals of the CV, and that we were just gonna.
Yeah, you can't just shove it back in there.
A bunch of ball bearings in a ring, like.
I'm like
a couple of shiny pebbles, in there. Just get in there.
Yeah. And Nicole says all the parts are sitting in the back door of her truck. It's just like, here, do me a favor, stuff all those back in the boot with no lube in it now.
Like, look, Casey's a mechanic, but he's not a magician. He can't fucking.
Yeah. So we got her one that has, at the very least, it's a manufacturer we've had good success with at the shop, and it comes with like a lifetime warranty, so we're confident in it. But we did get her 2 on her approval, so she will have an extra axle. If this happens again.
When this happens again.
When?
Yeah. You've seen her.
But we got to do.
What is the text I sent you, Casey? I said, Casey, did this happen because of the 35s or because Nicole drives the way Nicole drives?
And she's like, yes.
He's like, yes. You didn't send me that text.
Or maybe I sent it. Did I send that to Nicole? I sent it to somebody.
He used his
Ting burner phone.
No, I think I sent her.
It never went through.
I think I sent it to Nicole.
The number I have for Matt?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. I don't know. So they said she was about halfway through the gatekeeper and had gotten stuck. And then Joey was trying to have her back up. And when she backed up, the wheel drooped. And then it ripped the axle out. Now, whether she has 35s, 32s, or 37s, the axle is only going to droop the amount it's going to droop.
Yeah, exactly.
If anything, you would think in most cases it would droop less because the tire would contact earlier. Unless she's like just way up, right?
Don't ask me to think about those things. Just tell me how it goes.
So you could be that because so much more weight on the end of that suspension system that it drooped out really hard and yanked it out, but
I don't know.
It really shouldn't. It doesn't droop more because there's 35s.
But she's put longer coilovers and
no, she didn't.
And a spacer lift.
No, she did not put a spacer
on the Icon. No,
nope, just the Icons.
But the coilovers that she put on are longer than the factory ones. Do they have longer stroke than the factory ones?
That's what the A arm is for.
So that was going to be my next question. Is the A arm is the upper and lower control arm the limiting factor?
Yes.
But I'm telling you right now, there's no way that Icon sells a stage 7, 8, 9 or whatever kit it is where it has so much droop, it's potentially going to rip your CV out.
I agree. I would agree with that. And I would think that
the ball joint.
It'll limit the. I would think that the upper and lower control arm bottom out.
But it's the ball joint that limits the travel.
Okay.
As well as the sway bar. The sway bar should have kept it from.
So there should have been more than one thing to bottom out before it extended.
Well, if it broke back, and I think it was injured. No, it had broke already on the way up, and then on the way back down, she probably landed on something, and it just finally snapped.
That's my thought. My thought is that it was already
broken, or it broke,
or compromised, or whatever.
Damaged. Yeah, it was damaged.
You've seen Nicole drive. That whole truck is compromised. The whole thing is going to fall apart. You should have ordered 4 axles and a couple other parts just in case.
I'm
only saying that because Nicole's in the chat room and I'm pissing her off.
I can neither confirm nor deny that it was because of the 35s.
Okay.
I would lean more towards an inferior product or like it was already compromised.
Yeah, and Jason's saying the retainer clip could have let go before failure. That makes sense too. Like if that retainer clip broke.
Yeah, he's a Tacoma guy. He knows all about broken fucking axles.
And then but the wheel never drooped out to pull it out. You wouldn't know the difference. Well, either way.
So yes, you should still get 35s, Cody.
Either way, that's a shitty situation.
But also order an axle.
That's shitty for Nicole, and it looks like I'm gonna have to give her a ride up the hill next weekend. This weekend to go pick up her truck. So the
we should have it done Thursday or Friday.
Yeah. So what is there while you've got I would be interested in while you've got the truck up on the lift to let that wheel droop out all the way and see if those upper and lower control arms or sway bar or whatever will limit that downward travel so it doesn't pull out again. Because if you lift it up on the rack and those wheels bottom out and there's no threat of yanking the axle out, then we know that there was some other factor that caused that thing to break. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
That's like the one big hesitation of me selling the Land Cruiser is like I don't have to worry about fucking CV axles. Because they're so easy to break.
You don't have to worry about radios. You don't have to worry about air conditioning. You don't have to worry about going more than 45 miles an hour.
Comfort.
Yeah.
And comfort and AC.
You don't have to worry about any of that stuff.
But you're right. You don't have to worry about CVs.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about CVs.
Yeah. Jose, if you Titan swap, you probably don't have to worry about CVs, Jose.
That's true.
I drove the Cruiser to work the other day.
Why? It was fucking hot. What are you doing?
Okay, so we're done.
Oh yeah,
we're done picking on Nicole.
The Ant movie.
We're done picking on Nicole. We'll talk. At my new job, the parking lot has like a planter with some trees and stuff in it. So I pull in day 2. I back my truck up. It's hot as balls. There's a tree.
Yes.
I get some shade. What I don't know is that there is a river of ants in that garden that go up the tree. And when I backed my truck up, the rooftop tent was touching the tree.
They must have imported that tree from the Amazon.
Oh my God. I'm not even
in your tent?
No. There were 3 lollipops in the center console of my truck. That's where
they got it. Oh, okay.
I got in my truck to take Presley to work the next morning, and I sit down. I'm like, why is my center console moving? The whole center console. I grab the cordless vacuum and I'm vacuuming them up, and I'm pulling everything one at a time out of my center console, and I'm vacuuming, and what the hell? So I get it all vacuumed out, and I'm like, okay, we're good. Let's go. I'm driving. I have a napkin in this hand, and I'm smashing ants on the center console all the way to work, all the way to drop off Presley. From there, all the way to work. I come out and check later. It's just as bad. Damn. I'm like, I get in the car to go home. The center console is moving the whole time. I'm like, so I come home. I talked to the facilities guy at work, and I'm like, hey man, do you have any ant traps or anything around here? I'm like, I got a ton of ants in my truck. I need to do something. He's like, we'll get the ant guy. So
they have ant guys?
They have the ant guy, the pest control around the facility. So I come home that night, and I'm out in front till 8:00 at night. I set the floor mats are out. Yeah, everything's out of the sinkhole. The plastic cubby inserts under the seat are out, and it was like water. It was like you would vacuum and go, okay, cool. Why is it wet again? Like I would vacuum, and then 2 seconds later, it's like I never vacuumed.
Really?
So bad. So I was like, I vacuumed and vacuumed and vacuumed, and I even had gone to. That day I'd gone to CVS in the morning after I dropped off Presley and put ant traps in there, thinking maybe that will help. No. So I was that night I vacuumed all night, and I was just like, I'm over it. I can't. I don't know what to do. Woke up the next morning, went out and checked. This time I put the ant bait on the outside of the truck, thinking I might be able to get them to come out. I popped open the rooftop tent. There was none in there.
Okay.
So I woke up in the morning. I went to the truck, and I'm like, I'm not even going to bother with it. I'm just going to take the cruiser. So I went and got the keys to the cruiser. I'm glad I did, because it almost didn't start. It had been sitting there for so long, it almost didn't start. So I started it up.
Time for a new battery and alternator.
And
It has a new battery and alternator.
Might as well do the starter and the water pump and
you guys did that already.
I sent a text message. I sent a text message to the guys and said it usually takes me 7 minutes to get to work. This morning it was 45 minutes because I had the cruiser. I tell you, man. At one point I was at a signal on Pine on Schleisman over here, and there's 3 lanes and a right turn lane, and I'm at the signal, and this lady pulls up in the right turn lane, and she doesn't turn right, and I'm like, you don't do it, don't you? Sure enough, light turns green. She takes off right. She took one look at that Land Cruiser.
Walking
she took one look at that Land Cruiser and went, "There's my opportunity." Yeah. And she right in
There's
front
my
of me,
bitch.
and there was nothing I could do. There was absolutely nothing I could do about it. So I ended up leaving work in the cruiser, going to Home Depot, buying an indoor fogger.
Oh, damn.
Coming home on Thursday night.
Like a ant bomb.
And put a fogger in the truck and bombed it. Closed all the windows, bombed the whole thing. We had to take Presley out to Huntington Beach for the night. Bombed the whole thing. And then Saturday, must have been Friday. Friday when I got home, vacuumed it all, vacuumed everything, pulled everything out again, cleaned it all up. So the inside of my truck is as clean as it's been in a very, very long time. And I got to tell you, that was miserable. And
the Land Cruiser or the ants?
The ants. And so the bug guy was there the second day when I pulled in, and as soon as I backed into that spot, I was all, dude, I need your help. And he's like, you might want to move forward. And he's like, I'm like, why? He's like, that's how they got in your truck. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, look at that. And you could see the river of ants going up the tree. He's like, yeah.
So the bug guy knows about the ant problem. And
well, no, he was there spraying because we called him. But he's the one. He was like, yeah, he's like, they won't come up from the ground to get into your car. That's a little bit more difficult. But if your truck is touching the tree, it's way easier for them to get down in there. And he's like, that's probably exactly where they came from. So they
see that as like a permission slip.
Like thank you.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you. It looks like we're going to be living in this Ford Ranger now because he touching the tree.
And we had electricians on site doing some work. One of them got hit too. Damn. Same exact scenario. So ant guy came, sprayed all that. Then we had a tree guy come and trim back the trees. so it doesn't happen again. And now I park in between the trees. I don't go anywhere near the trees. But ants in your truck is shit. It was miserable because there's nothing you can do. There's just too many of them.
Yeah. Now you know how Godzilla feels like when he's
he's like, I have
coming
been
out of the
stomping.
ocean. I've been stomping human beings for like weeks, and they just keep coming at me. It's frustrating.
It is.
He's trying to fumigate and stuff to no avail.
So that was my experience. None of them. I was hoping one of the ants would be radioactive and then bite me, and I would have radioactive ant powers. But
but you would, but you'd look like an ant. Like you'd be
tell me that's not much
6
of a
foot tall
half ant.
Yeah,
half ant.
That
the
would
the worst half. The worst half. Whichever. Use your imagination.
I'm already.
Use your imagination.
Some would say I'm already.
And you know what? It doesn't have to be like up or down. It could be right or left.
Cody's anatomy is
right
ant size.
I'm already pretty anti.
It could be right or left, is what I'm saying. Like right side ant, left side human. You know, it doesn't have to be pants. Do I wear pants or not? You know. Nobody knows how radioactive ant. How that works. Anybody that says they do, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
I was bummed, but the truck's good now. Okay. Do we have anything?
It's still hot.
It's still hot as balls here. It's still ridiculous here.
But in a few weeks here, desert season's coming back. So
I think it's gonna be more than a few weeks, but yeah,
a few weeks is like 8. It's like.
But even 8, dude. I don't.
In 2 months, it won't be a desert season.
I think Halloween. It's still going to be hot in the desert during the day. It might be okay at night. So you might be able to pull it off, but I'm thinking
you could probably pull off some evening runs towards the end of September.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
What do you think? You think it's going to be freezing at Hammers this year?
You mean the same as it was all the other years?
Every other year?
Yeah, I mean, no. There's one year where it was hot, dude. The first
there was
year,
you're right. There was one year where it was fairly warm, but yeah, I'm expecting it to still be hot for a while. It's shit. It's bullshit. Okay, I don't think we have anything going on this weekend, off-road related.
I'm gonna go do some tree running for a couple of events.
Yep. Oh, I got to send you that map too. I'll get that done next week.
I have it.
Okay. Other than that, I think it's just everybody try to stay cool, stay hydrated, stay out of trouble, stay happy, stay healthy, and don't do anything dumb unless you film it so that we can talk about it on the show.
No, do dumb shit.
Yeah. But also film it.
Yeah, do the dumb shit if you film it. If you do, see, that was the thing. Like, there wasn't enough footage of Nicole's dumb shit. I wanted more angles of her dumb shit activities. Yeah. So,
some flames.
Yeah.
Like, go all 60 minutes on it. You know what I mean?
Then put some Metallica to the background of it. Like, now we're talking.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for everybody in the chat room. Again, it's another lively night where you guys are having some fun. We love it when you guys hang out with us. Thank you, guys, and we will talk to you next week.
Laters.
Peace.